The night had descended softly over the sprawling expanse of Alberta, transforming the forested wilderness into a blanket of whispering secrets. The Canadian Rockies loomed in the distance, rugged and timeless, the jagged edges kissed by the last hints of daylight. The air was crisp and infused with the rich, earthy scent of pine needles, as well as the lingering promise of winter's touch. It felt as if one could almost taste the frosts yet to come. In the heart of this rugged beauty lay an old research station, long since left behind by scientists and adventurers alike. Its structure, a haphazard mix of wood and sheet metal, clung stubbornly to the landscape, remnants of a time when it buzzed with energy and echoing laughter, now silent, save for the gentle rustling of leaves. It had been declared abandoned due to budget cuts and an unrelenting harshness of the winters, yet, curiously, when night fell, the lights blazed on like solitary beacons in the dark, betraying the stories hidden within its walls. Across the forested path, a small, cheerful campfire flickered under the vast, starry sky. Here, surrounded by wild ferns and the wild magic of the great outdoors, sat Nora and her younger brother, Jacob. They huddled beneath a patchwork of blankets, dappled shadows weaving around them as the flames danced, casting warm hues over their faces. "Tell me about the mountain again, Nora." Jacob piped up, his eyes bright with mischief and wonder. At only 10, he found solace in the thrill of stories, especially those held within the glowing warmth of their little campfire. Nora, sitting cross-legged beside him, smirked as she brushed a long strand of hair from her face. "All right, but you must listen closely. The craggy peaks of Mount Ada are enchanted. They whisper secrets to the stars, and if you look closely, you can see them move." Jacob gasped, leaning closer, the light illuminating the freckles dusted across his cheek. "What do they say?" "They sing to the lost and the brave," she continued, her voice dipping into a soft melody. "Legend has it that in the warm glow of an abandoned place, like the research station, if you listen with your heart, you can hear their stories of dreams left behind, of adventures never finished, of hope glowing softly in the dark." Jacob nodded solemnly, his imagination weaving wild tapestries around them. He held out a toasted marshmallow on a stick, waiting for Nora to take a bite. "Maybe we should go visit the research station tomorrow." Nora paused, contemplating the idea as she chewed thoughtfully. They had heard enough local lore to know better than to tread near the abandoned place, said to be haunted by the echoes of those who had left it behind. Yet an inexplicable yearning gripped her heart. Maybe it was the stories tugging at her, or her protective inclination towards her adventurous brother. "All right, but only if it's in the daylight. We should explore. Who knows, maybe we'll find something magical." The prospect of the adventure electrified Jacob, and he grinned widely, his excitement palpable in the night air. As the fire domed, they exchanged tales of who knew what, and the night went on, their giggles weaving through the trees like soft threads of laughter. The next day dawned, bright and beautiful, splashes of color pulsing through the canopy as sunlight filtered down to kiss the forest floor. Air rang with the chirping of birds and the gentle rustle of nature waking around them. Adorning their adventure gear, complete with backpacks filled with snacks and a flashlight, the siblings ventured along the winding trail that led to the research station. Nora's heart danced at every other sound, the wind coaxing the leaves and the crunch of twigs beneath their feet, her senses alight with the thrill of the unknown and the comfort of her brother's presence. Beside her, Jacob, blissfully content, chatted non-stop about what they might uncover: old equipment, forgotten notebooks, or maybe even an eerie artifact from the researchers' experiments. The closer they got, the more the air buzzed with a swirling energy that compelled them forward. An odd sense of resonance surrounded them. They could see the research station now, its walls appearing like shadowy giants hinting at histories overlaying their sight. Yet with every step, something glowed warmly against the horizon, a soft sunshine radiating around the old frame of the once bustling hub. When they stepped into the clearing, the sight before them sent a ripple of awe through both their hearts. The lights were on, illuminating the building as if inviting them within. The station, garlanded with the remnants of yesteryear's colorful spray paints, rusting solar panels, and frail windows that still shone brightly, was a paradox, both haunting and beautiful. "Look at that!" Jacob exclaimed, pointing excitedly at the sparkling specks of sun filtering through the dusty windows. Nora made her way closer but held him back gently. "Remember, we need to be careful. Just because it looks friendly doesn't mean it is." They approached the door, which creaked ominously as if voicing its displeasure at disturbing its solitude. With a deep breath, Nora brushed her fingers against the surface to push it wide open, and then they both stepped back slightly as they entered the dimly lit interior. It was as if time had laid a curtain over the station, blanketed it in warm gold and hues mixed with shades of melancholy. A whiteboard still stood at one end, covered in colorful diagrams that blended science with dreams, while shelves lined the walls, filled with jarred encapsulating the mysteries of nature: minerals, seeds, insects frozen in time. Every surface bore witness to the lives and aspirations of those who had once filled the space with enthusiasm. Nora's eyes widened in wonder, while Jacob, with relentless curiosity, darted from one corner to the next, bubs of laughter echoing around them as he imagined the many scientists who once congregated here. "Look, Nora!" "A robot," he squealed, spotting a tangle of broken machinery in one corner that still gleamed under the lights. Nora smiled lovingly, captivated by her brother's adventure. She rummaged through the corner of the room, her heart swelling as she watched him. Their childhood could already be traced in his laughter, the unbreakable bond glittering like the lights surrounding them. But as they delved deeper into the forgotten remnants of the research station, something began to stir within the shadows, a warmth alive in the very essence of this abandoned place. It felt like whispers of those who once dreamed here, telling new tales to those who dared to listen carefully. Jacob continued to explore, pulling Nora with him to each nook and cranny, with his exuberant voice breathing new life into the once abandoned station. "What do you think they were working on? Do you think they found aliens?" Rolling her eyes playfully, Nora chuckled. "Maybe. Or maybe just new ways to grow plants in cold weather. Or make a super potato," Jacob announced, springing back to point enthusiastically at a hatch above, which hung a sign stating experimental crops. Their laughter tangled with the dust motes floating in the beams of light that poured in. For a moment, the boundaries between past and present seemed to dissolve, the research station transforming into a cradle of adventure anew. But deep within the forgotten alcoves, as they filled the air with their innocent chatter and discoveries, a soft glow pulsed invitingly bright, intertwining with the warmth that resonated in their hearts. Little did they know, the echoing silence of the research station had awakened, ready to share its own secrets, as their journey led them deeper into the untold stories of those who had been. And for two children filled with curiosity and dreams, they were only just beginning to scratch the surface of the enchantment that lay beneath the lights, waiting for them to unravel. As the siblings explored the research station, Nora felt a peculiar sense of nostalgia wash over her. It wasn't just the remnants of the past that caught her attention, but how she and Jacob stumbled upon discoveries that illuminated their connection to one another and to the world around them. Each unraveling artifact painted vibrant strokes on a canvas of their childhood memories, their own little sanctuary from the outside world where dreams danced freely across uncharted territories. "Look at this!" Jacob exclaimed, interrupting her thoughts as he stumbled upon a dusty, worn-out journal with a cracked spine resting haphazardly beneath a pile of discolored papers. The leather had dulled with age, its pages yellowed yet filled with faint scribblings. As he opened it gingerly, Nora felt a rush of tenderness swell in her chest. "What does it say?" she asked, leaning over his shoulder, her curiosity piquing as she felt their shared thrill deepening in that moment. "It's more like drawings and notes. They were studying the natural world, plants and animals, and—" He paused, flipping a few pages. "Look, here's a sketch of a black bear and a list of what it eats." His eyes sparkled with excitement as he turned it toward her. Nora chuckled at his earnestness. "You might just be inspired to become a biologist," she teased, nudging him playfully. "Or an explorer." "Just like them," he replied, expanding the possibility with animated gestures which sent the dust swirling in pirouettes around them. In that moment, Nora found herself smiling radiantly. Jacob had an innate spark, a light that danced in his youthful heart, often finding fascination in the simplest of things. They had always been each other's support system, especially after their parents' separation. As they ventured further into the fragments of history, she realized how each shared laugh and wild aspiration was a stitch that bound them even more tightly. Just then, a noise echoed through the hollow spaces of the station, a light thud, almost as if something had shifted in the back room. All at once, their laughter hushed, replaced with a thumping heartbeat of uncertainty. "Did you hear that?" Jacob whispered, fear and excitement mingling in his voice, his eyes wide with a mix of wonder and apprehension. Nora held her breath but nodded, her heart racing. "It's probably just the wind, right?" she offered, though deep down she felt a strange pull, a sense of curiosity that tugged warmly at her chest. "Or maybe a ghost," Jacob chimed in, his adventurous spirit rekindling. His eyes sparkled with both fear and fascination, and in that moment, fresh courage swelled within her. "Let's go see," she said, wanting to protect this glimmer of adventure. With a flashlight in hand, she led the way toward the source of the sound, her pulse beating rapidly in anticipation. As they turned the corner into a smaller room drenched in shadows, the world around them shifted. In a far corner, beside the remnants of what might have been an old research desk, stood an elderly man, hunched over. He wore a frayed cabin jacket, its texture worn but still rich with memories, and a wild scruff of grey beard obscured his face. Nora gasped, instinctively stepping back, her protective instincts flaring. Was he supposed to be here? But as the old man straightened and turned to face them, his eyes crinkled into a smile, warmth radiating from his being. Ah, two brave young adventurers. I didn't expect company, he said, his voice resonating with a gravelly charm. Who are you? Jacob whispered, his initial fear dismantling in the face of the man's easygoing presence. I'm Harold, the man introduced himself with a twinkle of mischief in his eyes. I used to work here long ago, back when this place was bursting with life and laughter. Nora relaxed a bit, softening to the unexpected warmth in Harold's demeanor. You worked here? What was it like? Oh, a lifetime ago. We were filled with hope, dedicated to the land, and striving to unlock the secrets of nature, Harold recalled, his voice carrying a hint of nostalgia. Every plant, every animal inspired us to think bigger, to dream deeper. With growing fascination, Nora and Jacob moved close, emboldened by Harold's kindness. Rather than fear or apprehension, they felt as though they had entered a world stitched together by heartbeats and memories, a world they wished to be a part of. Do you mind if we explore a bit more? Nora asked, glancing at Jacob, who nodded eagerly. Well, this place could use some new life. Why not? Harold chuckled, giving them an approving look that lit up the room. Just promise you won't touch anything too delicate. For the next hour, the trio meandered through the remnant rooms of the station, Harold recounting stories of the research that had once filled the building with vibrancy, laughter, and human connections. Nora and Jacob listened intently, weaving their own dreams and aspirations into his tales, finding unexpected joy in each twist and turn of his words. Did you ever find something extraordinary? Jacob asked, his voice filled with innocent wonder. The question was vague, yet it hung in the air, beckoning a thoughtful response from Harold. There was a time we discovered a new species of plant, one with healing properties, he said reverently. But we were too ambitious then. I regret how I let my quest overshadow the simplicity of connection with others. He sighed deeply, his gaze distant. What do you mean? Nora inquired, her heart aching at the thought of lost connections. There were friendships I let fade because I was focused on my work. In the end, there is more purpose in sharing those ideas and passions with others than in solitary pursuit. Embrace connection, it is the true goal of any adventurer, he said, his voice wrapped in wisdom. Nora and Jacob shared a brief glance, understanding dawning firmly as they absorbed Harold's words. As the sun began its descent, spilling sunlight into the aging structures of the station, Nora felt a renewed sense of purpose unfurl within her. They were creating something beautiful here with Harold, an unbreakable bond, a connection that would echo throughout time. Would you like to help me restore this place? Harold asked suddenly as they walked back to the entrance, a glimmer of hope illuminating his gaze. What do you mean? Jacob's eyes widened. I believe that together we could breathe new life into this old building, Harold replied. There's more that can be uncovered, more stories to share and inspire, but I need your enthusiasm and spirit. What say you? Nora's heart raced, emotion swelling in her chest. The idea of breathing life back into the lifeless station filled her with purpose. She glanced at Jacob, whose face beamed with excitement. Yes. We'd love to help. All right, wonderful. Tomorrow, bring some paint, and let's start with the exterior. We could use some light. Harold exclaimed, clapping his hands together, the energy swirling around them like the warm summer breeze. As they left the station behind that day, Nora felt elated, her heart alight with dreams of a community experience, the possibility of making the research station a welcoming space for everyone, a hub for young explorers. Perhaps they might even host workshops and gatherings, knitting together a community long fragmented by time. Do you think we can turn it into something amazing? Jacob asked, walking side by side with her, a childlike glow igniting his features. I do. Noah replied, smiling down at him, their bond growing deeper still. And I think that it will be about more than just the building itself. It's about people sharing their stories, new dreams blooming together. Over the next few days, the three of them spent their mornings eager to dive into creativity, painting, planting, and reshaping the structure into a vibrant, inviting place that would capture the imagination of every young explorer in their town. While they worked, Nora took special care to include Jacob in the process, ensuring he felt a sense of ownership. They shared laughter and warmth under the open sky, their camaraderie blossoming amidst the echoes of the past. Jacob took to the initiative, crafting vibrant signs to invite passers-by. Welcome. Magic happens here. An earnest declaration that tugged at Nora's heartstrings. On the surface, they were simply restoring a forgotten building, but the process was also fostering conversations with neighbors, rekindling connections. They discovered shared histories of visitors who had once appreciated the station's magic, interactions sparking radiant stories of love, laughter, and hope that intertwined the threads of community. One afternoon, while packing up their tools for the day, a small group of families on bicycles rode by, intrigued by the youthful exuberance surrounding the old station. They slowed to a stop, glancing curiously at the bright colors adorning the entrance. What's happening here? One woman asked, recognizing the warmth in the atmosphere. Nora and Jacob exchanged glances, excitement sparking between them. We're bringing the research station back to life, Jacob exclaimed, his face glowing with enthusiasm. You should come help us. Everyone is welcome. With shared smiles like starlight illuminating the group, more families arrived over the next weeks, swelling the vibrant gatherings. Children's laughter echoed off the now painted walls, families forged friendships, sharing picnics on the grounds, and life began to flourish within the once forgotten station. As the community gathered and worked side by side, they marveled at how an unexpected encounter could build bridges between lives, creating not just a restoration, but a tapestry of dreams woven from the threads of shared passion. Nora's heart brimmed with gratitude knowing they were knitting together more than just the station. They were nurturing the spirit of connection where belonging was cultivated. It felt as though they were all pieces of an intricate puzzle fitting together, finding warmth in unexpected connections, the laughter of children, the camaraderie of neighbors, candid stories, spilling like fresh blooms awaiting the sunlight. But deep within the heartwarming tapestry of the community's efforts, a gentle tension thrummed beneath the surface. The day they hosted their first open house, hundreds flocked to see what had blossomed within the walls of the research station. The air buzzed with anticipation, banners swaying gently against the wind, while Jacob and Nora watched families gather, the energy echoing with excitement and joy. Amid the chatter, a small fateful whisper glowed in the shadows, recalling Harold's experiences, his reflections on the earlier ambitions that had imploded friendships. What if this connection they had forged dissipated like the fading daylight? What would become of their newfound community when they turned their backs and left for the summer? The thoughts settled in the depths of Nora's heart. As the crowds filled the station and smiles painted the faces surrounding them, she recognized that the warmth built was far more than just restoration. It was a delicate web of togetherness. The relationships forming were fragile and enchanting, but she couldn't shake the doubt that crept gently at the edges of her heart. Do you think we'll be able to keep this going? Nora asked Jacob quietly as they stood watching the revelry unfold, uncertainty dancing behind her earnest eyes. He turned to her, adorning a determined expression. Of course. We can do anything. We just have to keep inviting people and show them the magic. His words echoed Harold's, renewing her hope. If they all worked together, connected and woven tightly like threads of a tapestry, surely they could foster a vibrant community thriving on respect, admiration, and kindness. But just as Nora's heart swelled with renewed purpose, an unexpected figure emerged at the edge of the gathering, a familiar silhouette that brought the thrill of joy mixed with the pang of fear. Their mother, standing beneath the dappled sunlight, hesitated on the outskirts, her eyes scanning the colorful festivities. Nora's breath hitched. What would the arrival of their mother mean now? Would she pull Jacob back? Would she uproot the very connections they had sowed? Nora stood frozen in place, uncertainty washing over her like a cool breeze. Her mother, who once filled their home with warmth and laughter, had been absent for too long, caught in the chaotic currents of life's choices that had torn their family apart. As the crowd ebbed and flowed around them, smiles and laughter dancing in the air, Nora couldn't help but feel that the happiness they'd cultivated was suddenly at risk. Should we invite her in? Jacob whispered, his innocent heart brimming with hope. He glanced back at their mother, who stood awkwardly at the edge, a patchwork of emotions warring on her face, an unreadable expression cloaking her features. Nora hesitated. What if it became too much for her? What if she panicked and turned away? But there was an undeniable tug at Nora's heart. Time seemed to slow down as she slowly glanced back, feeling the warmth radiating from her mother's presence, no longer just a shadow in the corner of her life but a bridge to the memories they had once shared. Defiance in her spirit pushed forward even as apprehension lingered. I don't want to hide from her, Nora murmured, determination rising. Let's go see her. The notion of facing their mother stirred a mix of fear and excitement. She took a deep breath, her heart racing in tandem with Jacob as he nodded in agreement. Together, right? Together. The siblings wove their way through the colorful gathering, heads held high, Jacob's hand firmly clasped in Nora's, unafraid to confront the unknown. As they approached their mother, Nora noticed how her face softened, the corners of her eyes glistening with a mixture of nostalgia and longing. It was as if she too had been waiting for a moment to reconnect, to shed the layers that life had thrust upon them. Mom, Jacob called out, his voice bouncing around the laughter and cheer, and for a moment they shared a silence filled with unspoken words. We're so glad you came. In that instant, the mother seemed to come alive, the soul that had nurtured them awakening from its slumber. She smiled a smile that reached her eyes, and a shadow of the warmth that had once filled the house enveloped Nora in a bittersweet wave. I wouldn't miss it for the world, she replied softly, though the slight tremor in her voice betrayed the undercurrent of vulnerability that lingered. Come explore. We've turned the research station into a community space, Jacob urged, pulling her gently towards the door, excitement shining from his features as he mirrored the same eagerness that colored their own journey. Nora watched as their mother hesitated for a brief moment, casting a glance around at the bustling atmosphere. The energy of laughter and the warmth of blossoming friendships painted vividly across the gathering. Nora felt her heart thump wildly in her chest, feeling the thin line of uncertainty again. But just then, a toddler waddled up to them, her face smeared with chocolate from an irresistible cupcake stand, eyes glimmering with pure joy. "Are you gonna help make magic too?" she asked innocently, her question filled with genuine wonder. It was as if the child's innocent honesty unlocked something within their mother. Nora saw her lean down slightly, the warmth of a smile blossoming across her face as she knelt to meet the little girl's sparkling eyes. "I think I'd like to learn how to make some magic," her mother replied, the sincerity in her voice layered with care. Nora felt the tension in her chest unfurl, a gentle reassurance igniting in her heart. With renewed confidence, they stepped through the doorway together. As they entered the transformed research station, Nora felt like she was already building bridges, her mother stepping into the world they had begun to create. With each moment spent inside the building, laughter echoed through the walls. Jacob eagerly led his mother from room to room, sharing stories about their discoveries and the way the space had evolved. Their mother's eyes sparkled with fascination, absorbing the stories that came alive between them, celebrating the very essence of community that had blossomed in their absence. It wasn't long before she rolled up her sleeves, dusting off remnants of old paint and picking up a brush to join in on the fun. Nora watched her mother's spirit flicker to life, laughing as Jacob painted bright colors onto the walls just opposite her, his glee resonating through their laughter. As hours passed, families continued arriving, transforming the air into a kaleidoscope of voices, intertwining like threads weaving a tapestry of connections. Nora and her mother began to work together, transforming sections of walls into vibrant murals filled with nature, a testament to their shared affection for life, turning them into collaborative masterpieces. In those moments, Nora noticed how her mother engaged easily with the crowd, listening, sharing stories, and crafting sparks of connection with those they had never met before. It became clear that they were tending a garden of hearts, growing more than just paint or molds. They were nurturing bonds that transcended time and distance. As night began to fall, the setting sun painted the sky in pastel hues, casting a warm glow within the research station. The community gathered around a crackling fire pit set in the yard, ready to share stories of their own. Jacob and his newfound friends spun tales of wild adventures and imaginative explorations. Laughter danced into the twilight, filled with warmth that bound every heart. "Hey, let's create a new tradition," Jacob said suddenly as he gazed around at the faces illuminated by the fire's glow. "A night where we all share a story under the stars. Like a campfire channeling our dreams together." "I love that idea," Nora declared, her heart swelling at the thought. She felt her mother's hand intertwine with hers as if reaffirming their collective journey. And there, amidst the gathering, surrounded by the laughter and the narratives flooding the evening air, Nora felt like she could finally breathe. The warmth they had created was a refuge, one where growth and connection harmoniously coexisted. It wasn't merely about providing a space, it had become a sanctuary, their own little universe, alive and evolving. As the hour grew late, and stories wove magic into the night, Jacob raised his hand for attention, his voice rising above the chatter, knitting together the collective storytelling tapestry. "I have a story to share," he began, his excitement mixing with respect for the moment. "It's about courage and kindness. Once upon a time, two adventurous sister and brother found a hidden research station, and with the help of their new friends, they turned it into something magical." Nora felt her heart flutter as Jacob looked right at her, the adoration in his gaze reflecting their journey together. He spoke of their challenges, their discoveries, and the importance of connection, wrapping the crowd in a feeling of warmth that only illuminated their growing community. Their mother's eyes glimmered with recognition and admiration, pride bursting within her heart. In that moment, Nora knew she was witnessing a transformation, her mother, her brother, and their shared bond woven with the tapestry of feelings that filled the air around them. As the fire crackled softly, casting enchanting shadows against the trees, something stirred within Nora, an understanding that home wasn't just a place, it was a feeling of belonging, a reflection of memories created and shared. It was as if they had all been part of a larger family, stitching together their lives through moments of kindness and courage. Soon, the twilight deepened, and Jacob's tale came to an end, prompting applause from those gathered around. But one face stood out among all the mothers, a mirror of joy and contentment, glistening with tears that sparkled under the moonlight. "It's amazing," she said softly, her voice thick with emotion. "To think I almost missed it. You both have built something beautiful, and I was too afraid to be a part of it." Nora felt her mother's vulnerability and felt a bond forming anew, fragile yet resilient. She stepped closer, enveloping her in an embrace, the warmth of their shared love shimmering within their hearts. You're here now, and that's what matters, Nora murmured, feeling a shift in the rhythm of their relationship, as if they were finding their way back, bit by bit. The stars twinkled overhead, and laughter echoed around them, harmonizing with nature's night song, an orchestral reminder of the beauty of connection, belonging, and love. As the gathering continued, the research station, once an abandoned relic, had blossomed into a living testament of kindness and community growth. And as the evening drew to a close, Nora looked around at the faces illuminating the world they had nurtured together, all the stories intertwined, each thread shimmering with hope. In that moment, she knew they had created something more than a building. They had cultivated a sanctuary, this sanctuary. In a swirl of colors and laughter, she felt the metamorphosis within her own heart. It had begun as an innocent wish to restore a forgotten past, yet it had transformed into a brighter hope, wrapped in a promise of connection. Together, they forged new memories that would resonate far beyond the shadows of the station, lighting the way for others who dared to dream, explore, and share their own stories. And with renewed purpose, a sense of elation unfurled deep within her, a promise of future adventures awaited to be embraced, of life set afire with purpose around the shared journey. Inspiring connections would continue to blossom, hearts beating in rhythm, beautifully alive under the canopy of stars, their very own vibrant family of dreamers, explorers, and storytellers, united in warmth. The night deepened, cradling the laughter, the stories, and the love of all those gathered. And as Nora and her family stepped deeper into their new life, she felt an exhilarating certainty blossoming within. This was just the beginning of an extraordinary adventure, one woven with threads of kindness that would forever ripple outward into the world. As days turned into months and seasons changed, the research station was soon known as the community lodge, a place of gathering, sharing, and nurturing dreams where everyone felt welcomed. Workshops blossomed, families thrived in newfound connections, and laughter echoed through the rooms like the heartbeat of a happy community they had created. Harold, who had once kindled the flicker of hope in their hearts, remained an integral part of the journey, a mentor to the young explorers, guiding them through workshops brimming with respect for nature and the beauty of togetherness. The children learned not only about the natural world, but also about the artistry of storytelling, further nurturing the sense of community that had flourished. Nora discovered her passion for the environment and began to study biology and ecology, her spirit forever ignited by her early explorations. Jacob, too, found his path, wanting to be an artist who would depict nature and create art that celebrated the connection between people and the world around them. Their mother, now fully present, shared her love for gardening, bringing an entire new cascade of life that echoed outside the station. Together they cultivated flowers that would bloom in the spring, vibrant herbs that offered delicious flavors for friendly feasts, and trees that shaded those who gathered. Uniting hearts and nurturing bonds became the foundation upon which they built their community, forging experiences where every individual could express themselves authentically, fostering understanding across generations. As Christmas approached, a heartwarming tradition emerged, the annual celebration of stories. The community came together to share their experiences, uplifting narratives of courage that warmed each heart against the winter chill. In that same research station where they once breathed like whispers of the past, today became a beacon of hope, a sanctuary of memories realized, bringing warmth to each soul who passed through its doors. And so, the threads of kindness continued weaving their tapestry, intricately bound with friendships, woven with vibrant colors created from stories shared, an evergreen reminder that life flourished wherever hearts connected, was the fabric of a beautiful adventure waiting to unfold, guided by the dreams of all who dared together under the gentle embrace of stars.